So the puzzle was coming together nicely, nicely. One step forward and one step backward. Oh boy.
Kurt, Bangladesh had one job, and that was to defeat South Africa.
Welcome, Sports Nation, to Sports DTM, the sports channel where we call sports down the middle. You can expect the latest in sports news, views, and reviews from our resident analysts. No sports topic is too controversial, and no team or player is above criticism. So just smash that subscribe button and ring that notification bell to make sure you don't miss out on our balanced offering of riveting sports content. And don't forget to like, share, and leave a comment below. Welcome to Sports DTM.
Greetings, Sports DTM fans, and welcome to another episode of Sports Down the Middle, your channel of undiluted sports content. The cricket analysts are here to give their feedback on the matchup between South Africa and Bangladesh. We all wanted Bangladesh to win this matchup, and they did. So let's share with you the first scoreline of what took place in this match between South Africa and Bangladesh. So Bangladesh batted first, or attempted to, and they were smuggled out for a poultry score of 84 of 18.2 overs. When we wanted Bangladesh to do much better than this, they didn't. Rabada 3 for 20 from 4 overs. South Africa batted second, Adrian, and South Africa made light work, if you want to call it that. We were hoping that Bangladesh will still try and pull it off, but them lick off the runs in a little time. 86 for 4 of 13 overs and 3 balls. What is there to talk about in this matchup? Bangladesh 84 all out, South Africa 86 for 4. Not what we wanted. Adrian.
Kurt, Bangladesh had one job, and that was to defeat South Africa. But sadly, Bangladesh were incapable of doing that. They looked under pressure from the start as South Africa won the toss and elected to field. And from there on in, it was all downhill. The Bangladeshis could not keep up with the pace of the South Africans, and they just steamrolled them. And as you can see there, they only were able to bat 18.2 overs at 84 runs. That's a run rate of 4.58. Clearly, they thought that they were playing test cricket, and the little mathematical hope that they had to qualify or even to help the West Indies was all over from the start.
Raymond, when you say Bangladesh all out for 84, you're saying that this definitely was a disappointing score for the West Indies.
Of course, big time. I mean, that 84. So the 84 to me resembled what happened to West Indies scoring 55 against England. And it only show you that the team them just wasn't up to par. And as such, like what happened to West Indies against England, that set back West Indies again, given that Bangladesh didn't even put up any real resistance. Poor performance. And it just very disappointing now. And put West Indies under big pressure, big pressure.
Talking about the West Indies, and one of the result that we wanted from this match, Adrian, was for Bangladesh to beat South Africa. And now South Africa has won and moved up by 2 points, and they're now on 6. It means that South Africa cannot win any more game, or else the West Indies is out.
Yes, Kurt. This result was not the result that we were hoping for when we put out our predictions and our counting in terms of what was required to bring the West Indies. The forecast didn't have South Africa defeating Bangladesh, right? For it to go the West Indies' way, Bangladesh had to defeat South Africa to allow the West Indies to be in a better position. However, all hope is not lost. It's a thin thread that the West Indies are hanging on to, but it's not over as yet. I know that some people have said West Indies are out, but there is still yet hope, and the West Indies has to win their matches, and of course, hope that some other results swing their way.
So, Raymond, when we talk about the West Indies making it through to the semifinals, initially we were looking at the possibility of Bangladesh beating South Africa, which has never happened in the history of T20 cricket, Bangladesh versus South Africa. So, Bangladesh is South Africa beating stick, but it makes it a little bit more challenging now for the West Indies because we now have to go in the realms of net run rate, right? And I will try to share what the table looks like, what the table looks like now, so that you can have an idea of what the net run rate
Not a
for
good
both
sight at
teams.
all.
Yeah,
Not a good.
so Kurt, what,
Yeah.
what had happened was that we actually said, given that the history with Bangladesh and South Africa, we had said that there's a strong possibility that Bangladesh should lose the game. But we were hoping for the victory, but we were being very realistic. And being realistic, we figured that South Africa would have won. But what we didn't plan for is the manner in which South Africa won that game, which bring the net run rate issue squarely to the table so early. We never expected for happen so early. We actually expected West Indies to play the next game, and then we probably just hint at it. But no, it's squarely on the table. There's no other way but the net run rate right now, in my opinion. Do I think it's over? No, because the match tell me say it can't, it's not over. So guess what me lean to? Maths is sure. It's like laws and natural. There's no English to it. It's like ones and zeros. Absolute.
So if I try to put this net run rate in perspective, Adrian, the West Indies currently on 2 points with a minus 1.598 net run rate minus, right? So it means that their opponents are scoring runs much faster than them. In simple terms, their opponents are scoring 1.598 runs faster than them over the period of the series. South Africa net run rate is positive 0.742, right? Which means South Africa is scoring at a rate of 0.7 faster than all their opponents. For West Indies to reverse this, and West Indies can need to reverse this because South Africa is already on 6 points. And in order for West Indies to qualify for the semifinals, they have to now have a positive run rate, one higher than what South Africa have now. So two things come in perspective. West Indies have to beat Sri Lanka badly. Anything less than 120 no make no sense. So if West Indies players out there realize that they're not going to win by more than 120, they need to do something. There needs to be a miracle, Adrian. Sri Lanka, whatever it is, once West Indies, but first they will have to bowl Sri Lanka out for 120 less than whatever they make. So if they make 140, they have to bowl Sri Lanka out for 20 runs. That's where the formula is now. Is that possible, Adrian, considering all that you've seen, the runs being scored in this competition, and the margin of victory for any of the teams?
Kurt, it's possible, but maybe not probable. But the law of averages can come into play. The West Indies have been so horrible all tournament long, just squeezing out a win on the last ball against Bangladesh over the weekend, that you should hope that they can't get any worse. And at some point in time, they're going to come to the party and hit a big score. Somebody has to go off, and it is hope that the big hitters will go off in the match. Also, it is hope that the West Indies somehow will win the toss, right? But even if they win the toss, they would still need to restrict the South Africans a little. So I suspect it's better for them to actually hit a big score and
Just to
then
correct
hope
you,
to
they restrict Sri
Sri
Lanka.
Lanka. Yes, to restrict Sri
Right.
Lanka, correct. To restrict Sri Lanka to a low score. I'm reaching ahead to South Africa already on Saturday. But it's to restrict Sri Lanka to a very low score. But even with that, what it means is that they would have to knock it off quickly and not lose a lot of wickets. So, I mean, it may be better for them to hit a massive score, 180 plus, and then turn around and pressure the Sri Lankans and out them for under 60, right? Or somewhere in that region in their chase. Either way, either do it that way, or they're going to bowl out the Sri Lankans cheaply and pretty much knock off those runs in a very short time. But they need a big performance. I need to get it going like yesterday.
So Raymond, mathematically they're still in with a chance, and we're not going to give up until the formula proves otherwise, right? So what is also important is that Bangladesh will play against Australia before the West Indies play. So Australia also has an opportunity to close on 6 points. So we're also asking for Bangladesh again to play for some pride. Bangladesh, please
Come
play for
on,
some
Bangladesh.
pride. Right? You can, we believe in you, right? We believe that you can at least beat Australia. Raymond,
Yeah,
that
so
also is part of the formula. Or
yeah, it is. It is. It should. It's part of the formula. I notice you guys giving Bangladesh a lot of mission. They have failed that one. I mean, they failed that one attempt against South Africa now, and now to do it against Australia. People, what for be frank, Bangladesh not gonna beat Australia.
Hey,
But
come on, bro.
come on, I'm just trying to go down the middle here.
Bangladesh, did Bangladesh beat Australia in some T20s
Yeah,
earlier?
well, that not happened this time around. But if they pay for pride, I'm sure they will make them work for it. And Australia would regret playing at Bangladesh so late and have West Indies to face after. So Bangladesh, no bother the 84 all out business. Do. You score into the hundreds, man, and put some serious pressure upon Australia and make them understand what we're about. And if that happens, to me, you have done your job. And that once you put a respectable score and
Good job.
hold Australia to something, so respectable, good attempt on them, probably not hit that. But if they do, you make them work. To me, you have done your job for West Indies. And that's all I ask for.
so the Adrian normally looks at the opportunity of other teams. So right here, Australia also still have a chance of making it to the semifinals. They are currently on 4 points and playing against Bangladesh with Australia have a negative net run rate of 0.627. So if Bangladesh don't have any plans of winning, they need to be extremely competitive so that Australia don't get this opportunity to increase their net run rate from minus 0.627. Adrian.
Yes, Kurt. The sports DTM points model for the T20 would be distorted if Australia were to win heavily against Bangladesh, because it would flip their position from a net run rate of a negative 0.627 and probably bring them in the positive sense. They'll be tied with South Africa. The West Indies would be under pressure because they'll be chasing the pack, and the puzzle would be all over the place. So again, we shouldn't be doing this, but the West Indies needs Bangladesh to show some pride. One job.
Yes, West Indies fans, we know Bangladesh needed to beat South Africa to make it a little easier for us to make it through to the semi-final. They didn't. But it is not yet over, as the mathematics, the formula still showing that the West Indies can make it through to the semi-finals. However, the challenge gets a little bit harder because of the way they have been playing so far in the competition. Their opponents are scoring faster than them. And when I mean their opponents, the teams that they have played before, the England, the Australia, did they play Australia? The England, the South Africa, the Bangladesh combined score faster against the West Indies than the West Indies score against them combined. West Indies run rate average 5.66. The opponent's run rate against the West Indies 7.3 something something. So the difference between those two numbers is what the West Indies need to get against the next two opponents, Sri Lanka and Australia, and get that positive above one in order to make it through to the semi-final. Sound easy, not true? The maths sound easy, but they need to execute on the field. First of all, they need to win, and then they need to win convincingly. Two things we're asking of them: win and win convincingly. Is it possible, fans out there? We need to hear from you by you leaving those comments in the comment section below. Take out your calculator, do all the calculations, send those messages below what you think the West Indies need to do, how much runs they need to score, how much runs they need to win by. Leave all those comments in the comment section below, and always remember to like, to share, and to subscribe, and to tell your friend, to tell a friend, to tell a friend, to tell all of them friends to come and join the Sports DTM family. This has been another episode of Sports Down the Middle. Be blessed.